Hi, everyone. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining in today for this session of building reflective teaching practices with the VC3. This session has been hosted by Knotral Training and is supported and powered by VC3 by Edthena. I know it has been a long day for all of you, especially teachers who we value the most in our session. Full school schedule and then in the evening sparing your own personal time for this. Appreciate you joining in, and we promise that we will try to make this as valuable as possible for all of you. Today we are going to discuss about a product that is very special. It's a video coaching enablement tool that helps teacher trainers, school leaders, and absolutely all our teachers to continuously professionally develop and being able to deliver quality education in their classroom. So I am Dheeraj Rakru. I'm the founding director of Knotral Trainings as well as India Market Entry. And I have a special guest with me today whom I will talk about when he starts the training. I would welcome all of you during the session. If you have any questions, queries, please feel free to share it in the chat right when they come across. Our team will be happy to respond in the chat itself. And if those questions are not being answered in the chat, then we will take it up towards the end of the session where we have dedicated time allocated for Q&A. Then this session would be for about 45 minutes and then we would open up for the Q&A. I would like to quickly cover and talk about Edthena and VC3 to begin with. So for which I have prepared a presentation. I will right away begin. So, as I mentioned, we are talking about building reflective teaching practices using VC3 as a tool. To begin this session, I would like to open this session with a poll. And that poll is pretty simple. We're trying to understand who you are, what is your background, what is your role with or in the institution, so that we can cater to your needs during the session. I would request everybody to please contribute to this poll. It's a simple poll where we are trying to understand who you are. I would request all of you to please contribute. This will only help you and help us to actually make sure we are able to give you valuable information that you can utilize during the session. Remember, we do also have participation certificates. We will share with you towards the end of the session how to avail them. All right. Abhishek has mentioned he's a professor in Delhi. Welcome, Abhishek. Thank you so much. I know that option is not available. Appreciate you writing in the chat. And I would request somebody else who does not feel comfortable with the role that we have shared as options. If that does not apply to you, I would request you to put it in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing this. We see quite a few teachers, a few school leaders, teacher trainers, as well as education consultants joined in today. A big warm welcome from me and the team at Knotral Trainings. Appreciate you joining in. Let's move forward. Okay, what is Edthena? Edthena is a US-based teacher development company that was founded in 2011 by Adam Geller. Adam Geller was a classroom teacher who basically understood firsthand the challenges of professional growth. For over 15 years, At Edthena, he has been singularly focused on one mission, helping teachers improve their classroom practice through the power of video. This is not a Silicon Valley startup that built a technology solution first and then tried to fit into education later. As you can understand, this was built by an educator for an educator. Let's talk about numbers. Edthena have collectively added over 2.2 million, that's about 22 lakhs, comments to nearly, so the comments are on the videos, nearly 7 million minutes of classroom videos. That's 70 lakh minutes of classroom videos. And that is almost equivalent to 115 years of classroom instruction that has been observed, reflected upon, and improved through this tool, VC3. Look at the credentials in the slide that I've shown on the screen. At the bottom of the screen, you can see it is supported by organizations like Gates Foundation. Time Magazine actually awarded them as the Best Innovation of 2025 award for one of their products. Edutopia gave them an award of 10 brilliant uses of EdTech in 2025. They are FERPA compliant. FERPA compliant is the best gold standard compliance for data privacy in the US. They have been featured by the World Economic Forum and the OECD. So when we say this is a globally trusted research-led platform, we actually mean it. It is exactly that, what we say. And today evening, we are going to show you how this global best practice tool can be applied right in our own classrooms in India. Aligned with NEP 2020, NCF 2023, and the NCRT's teacher competency frameworks are all included. Before we go into the platform, let me set a context with a quick question here. Another poll that will pop up on your screen now is a very contextual question. Context is specific to you as a teacher trainer, as a consultant. This is very specific to you. What is the biggest challenge that we face or you face in teacher capacity building today? At your school, at your institution, you personally, what do you believe? This is a very contextual question. There's no right or wrong answer. This is specific to your own use case. What is the biggest challenge in the teacher capacity building today? We see most of you have answered teacher feel inspected, and the close second is limited time for in-person classroom observation. Both are amazing answers. We observe that too in most of our sessions. Some of you have also answered track teacher growth over time. Some are answering difficulty scaling quality across multiple branches. I'd request everyone to please contribute to this poll. We will share the outcome of this poll with you. It will be great for your and our both learning. And absolutely, if the challenge is not there that you feel in this, I would request you to put it in the chat. We would love to know. We would love to hear. Right. Somebody wrote in the chat, Sukumaran. Okay, Sukumaran sir actually wrote that in the current world of AI, the content needs to change drastically. Absolutely, sir. Couldn't agree more. Bindu wrote 1, 2, 3, 4. Absolutely, each one of them could be a challenge. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion and your answers. You can see the number one is teachers feel inspected, and number two is limited time for in-person classroom observation. Absolutely. And today we are going to just talk about these challenges and how we are solving them using VC3. So VC3 is a secure web-based platform where classroom video becomes the catalyst of professional discourse and even reflective practices. So let me break it down into three-step process. It's very simple. Number one, a teacher records their lesson using any device. Could be a smartphone, it could be a laptop, it could be a dedicated camera device. If you have one, nothing extra is required. If you don't have one, just use your phone. Everybody has a smartphone that can record videos. Just press record, keep it in a position where it can capture you. Just press record and start teaching. Step two, share it. Upload the video to the VC3 platform. And this is critical. You would decide as a teacher who can see it, whether it is you, your mentor, or your colleague, your peer, or your teacher trainer only, specifically. And you can share it. Always is under your control. They're not going to download it. They're only going to be able to see it. And number three is the step where the magic actually happens. The colleague or the coach watch the video, leave timestamp comments. So specifically, how would that work? So for example, at 14 minutes 32 seconds, they can leave a comment at that specific moment and say, for example, this was a great open-ended question. Notice how 3 students immediately raised their hands. So that's the level of specificity. That's what turns feedback from being vague to transformation. And this entire process is asynchronized. That means the coach does not need to be physically present in your classroom. They can actually review your peer or your coach or whoever you're working with. They can review the video at 10 p.m. after their own responsibilities are done. And the teacher can reflect on the feedback on the weekend. So professional learning happens on everybody's schedule, async completely. So, I mean, you would be wondering why video specifically? Couldn't it be just a checklist or an observation form to do the same? The answer is no. And there is a deep research behind why. Let me very quickly try to explain this. The powerful concept in educational research called the science of noticing is the idea that teacher needs to develop the ability to notice what's actually happening in their class, not what they're thinking that it is happening. So mirror versus memory. So here's the problem generally with traditional observation. They rely on human memory. The observer walks in, takes notes, and later, maybe hours or days later, will sit down with the teacher to give the feedback. By then, both parties are relying on their interpretation of what happened. Video eliminates that problem entirely. It provides objective evidence. So to speak, a mirror, not a judgment, but a mirror. When a teacher watches their own video, the conversation shifts from, I don't think I do that, to, oh, I see what you mean. There it is at minute 7. So video specifically removes subjective disputes and even perception bias. It can create a common ground for honest and productive learning environment. Number 2 is self-reflection. And research has consistently shown this. Teachers or even anybody else become their own harshest critics when they actually watch themselves teaching. They notice things that the coach hasn't even pointed out yet. So it's like self-reflective process automatically starts before even the coach or the peer or the mentor actually starts giving feedback. As the beauty of such a solution. And let's talk about impact. The research is very clear on the impact of such kind of methodology. Video-based analysis improves teacher motivation, retention by over 10%, and even significantly boosts student learning outcomes. Now, this is not only true for teachers, but it is true for athletes, professionals, cricket players. They all the time watch their videos, notice their small mistakes, make their corrections, and make sure they don't repeat them. That's exactly how this process would work for anybody. And that's true for teaching as well. So VC3 as a tool makes this vision practical and scalable. Now, let me introduce, without further ado, the person who is going to bring this to life for you guys right now. Someone who deeply understands both the research and the classroom reality today. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Mohamed Faisal Al Hasan. Faisal is a founder of the Center of Research in Education and Leadership, short form CREL. He's also a Cambridge program leader for CICTL, the Cambridge International Certificate for Teacher and Learning. And what makes Faisal uniquely qualified to speak on this topic is that he lives at the intersection of research and practice. He's not someone who has only, read about reflective teaching. He actively helps schools in India to implement it. His expertise is deeply aligned with NCERT and NEP 2020 frameworks, and he has been helping Indian schools to bridge the gap between what the policy says and what actually happens in the classroom. Faisal also was a speaker for our AI Coach webinar earlier this month, and the feedback was outstanding. So I know you're in for an enriching session. Faisal, the stage is yours. I'll hand it over to you to take us through the VC3 platform.
Thank you, Dheeraj. Thank you very much. I was pretty happy to see in the comment section, there were a lot of people from different parts of India, Goa, Kerala, Gujarat. Okay, so let me just start sharing the screen right away. There you go. Okay, now. Okay, fine. Now, so this session is, I want all the participants to be interactive. So in this case, I have a small question for you. So as you can see the image here, the teacher is explaining and the students are listening, right? On the image you can see the teacher is explaining and the students are listening. Assuming this is one of the typical classroom scenario, write one strength and one recommended area for improvement based on the image that I've shared. What is one strength about this teaching practice? And what would be one area of recommendation that you would suggest for this teacher? The time starts now. You could use the chat box. We're not looking for the right answer, right? Feel free to share your opinion here. Okay, you can share your opinion. Strength is silence, improvement would be interaction, yes. Passive listening, practical demonstration. Okay, strength the classroom is discipline and children are attentive. Okay. Students are interested in topic, fine. I could see a lot of response. Okay, fine. Now let me just move to the next section. So as you, thank you for sharing your opinions using the chat box. And as you could see, there are a lot of comments which stated about the classroom being passive. And some of the other participants had also mentioned the students are disciplined. Now, these are some of the typical classroom scenarios which you will be able to find on any given day, right? And certain other instances, it might differ. The classroom might not be as disciplined as the way you could see in this image, right? With that in mind, let us see how VC3 would help us in this regard, right? So what VC3 does is that, as Dheeraj had earlier mentioned, and also from the question that was asked earlier using a poll, where several teachers had mentioned we don't have time to do the observation, practical challenges, obviously. And in that case, what can VC3 do in order to ensure that we're able to provide quality feedback for the teachers? And as mentioned earlier, if you want the students' outcome to improve, one of the primary factors that should be focused on are the teachers. Quality instruction equates to better student outcomes. That's the simple logic or the simple law that is universally applicable, right? With that in mind, as stated earlier, practical difficulties are there to give quality feedback. At the same time duration is something which we don't have, or that is something which is not available for the teachers due to the fact that they have too many work that is on them. So for instance, if you take up this VC3 platform, the only thing that has to be done is that you place a camera in the classroom and you shoot the video of your classroom teaching practice. You record the video, and after recording the video, what you do is that you upload it just like how it is shown here. I'll also be showing you the platform. In the meantime, I'm making use of this PowerPoint so that we need not go through each and every detail, right? So this is the first step where you happen to upload the video. You record it and then you upload the video, right? And then it gets uploaded in the platform, right? In the VC3 platform, it gets uploaded, right? It just takes a few minutes for it to upload. And once it is done, you get this page. Yeah, there's something which actually I did for myself, and it asks for certain basic information, right? So basic information in the sense it talks about the title. It also talks about the description. So what it does is that in the description column, as you could see, AI actually generates its own description based on the video that I've uploaded. So based on the video that I uploaded, AI generates its own description, and I can actually make use of the description. If not, I can edit and make changes to the description. This again is something which is highly beneficial because due to the shortage of time that we have, AI actually does this job for us, which makes our job very much simple in terms of providing the description. Now the question is, what is the point or purpose of this description? Description is actually, it talks about what I actually did in the class, right? What was my learning objective? Did I achieve the learning objective, right? What kind of active learning strategies did I incorporate? So those are the details that comes under the description, right? So when someone happens to give the feedback, this description actually is available for them to have a look at, right? They can read the description, trying to understand what exactly was my intention in the class. Then moving on. Then the second page you have where it talks about the subject and the grade, right? And as you can see, these are pretty much user-friendly, right? It's not something highly complicated or complex to understand. The first page spoke about the description. The second one talks about the subject and grade for which the video was uploaded. Then it goes to the third one. Third one talks about the supporting materials, right? So in this case, obviously, when we talk about supporting materials, I'm going to upload the lesson plans, or let us say the worksheets that was used for that particular session, right? If there are any video links or something that has to be attached, that also can be attached. Or if it is in the form of a drive, the link also can be attached. So these are some of the facilities that are available for adding supporting material for that specific session, right? So as I mentioned, description, it talks about the basic idea or brief insight in terms of what I was trying to achieve in the class, subject grade, then you have supporting materials. And then the fourth one, as Dheeraj had earlier mentioned, so whom would I like to share my video with, right? That's something very important, right? Would I like to share the video with my department, or would I like to share with someone else who is actually a colleague, not necessarily from my department, right? Or would I like to share it with the HOD? And it's up to us to decide in terms of whom I would like to share. Here, as you could see, actually, I can also create a group of my own, right? And on the left, as you could see, a framework is given. There's a drop-down box which has the title as framework. So here, based on the CBSE guidelines, NEP guidelines, if you like to have your own framework that has to be added there, that is something which is again possible, right? That can be added there. So this again, the video that I've created actually can be shared to the group whom I would like to share it with, and people in that group will be in a position to give the feedback. Now, let me just move on to the other one. Okay, here, yep. Fine. Okay, so as you could see, so this is how the platform looks like, right? This is how the platform looks like, and here we have this demo tool which is available for us to understand it better in terms of how someone can give the feedback. As you could see, this is how the platform looks like, where on the left side you'll have the video that was recorded by you, and that which you posted will be available for your colleagues to give the feedback. And on the right side you have this panel which has these 4 different options there, of the first one being the details. So details, as I had earlier mentioned, is where you have the description. This description which I typed earlier will be appearing here in this column, which will be available for my colleagues to have a look at and get an idea in terms of what actually was my learning intention in this class, right? So that's about the description and subject grade. All those basic details which I had typed in earlier will be available for my colleague before he or she gives the feedback, right? Then you have the insights, right? After details, you have the insights. So here, as you could see, you have this box which has been highlighted under the title questions to consider. So these questions are something which is automatically generated by AI based on the video that I had shared. So the background, what AI does is that it actually reviews the video, gives the description for us to be used. Along with that, it also creates question for you to consider when you're giving the feedback, right? For instance, if you look at the first question, how does the various questioning techniques used throughout the lesson support or hinder student understanding of variable expressions? So from this, I can understand that the topic was on variable expression, right? So the question which the AI had prompted is, how does the various questioning techniques used throughout the lesson support or hinder student understanding of variable expressions? So did the questions that was asked in the class, did it support or did it hinder the progress, right? So was it open-ended question or was it closed-ended questions? In a normal classroom scenario, most often, unfortunately, teachers rely highly on closed-ended questions, right? Open-ended questions are the ones which has in it higher order thinking skills, which naturally gets embedded. Using the higher order thinking skills, if you use that as open-ended questions, there is high potential for the learners to think critically and respond, right? So that's the point there. So for instance, if I had to give an example here, if I had to frame a higher order thinking skill question, right? Normally teachers might ask, let us say, if they had to frame a simple learning objective for that matter, right? A simple learning objective might be students will define democracy. This is on a lower level, right? This is what NEP talks about, right? Competency based, where the students are able to think critically. On a lower level, if the teacher is defining the learning objective as students will define democracy, that's actually very less, or on the lots scale of Bloom's taxonomy. How can we convert this into a higher order thinking skill, right? So how can we do that? So there is a simple manner in which that can be done, where if I have the same learning intention, if I had to convert it, I would say students will evaluate whether a country meets the features of a democracy, right? Let me just reiterate it again. Students will evaluate. So the students are actually evaluating evaluating whether a country meets the features of a democracy with reasoning. They also need to provide reasons why this country A or B would be factored as a democratic country. That's on a high level thinking. Now, these are some of the strategies that the teachers might not be necessarily aware of, and due to the lack of time that is available, will not be able to give feedback to the teachers on these grounds. Right? So in this case, these are some of the questions that is generated by the AI that is running in the background, and these questions will serve as a prompt for the person who is giving the feedback to consider. And just below that, you can also see balance of talk time. So you have this green and yellow bar there. So balance of talk time, what is the talk time that the teacher was using or incorporating in the class, and what was the talk time that the students were involved in, right? And in several classes, if the teacher is not very much familiar with the teaching and learning models, there is a high chance that the teacher talk time will obviously exceed the student talk time. As a matter of fact, in some cases, the student might not be able to or wouldn't have been given the opportunity to voice his or her opinion there, right? So it'll be completely like teacher driven. As mentioned in one of the comments earlier when I showed the image, it was completely passive, right? So in this case, if the teacher is not familiar with the model, the teacher might fall under the illusion that if the teacher is delivering the class, the student might be able to understand and write the exam. It doesn't work like that, right? And even CBSE doesn't actually encourage class where it is completely passive or completely teacher driven, right? Now, as you can see, the second point that we just spoke about, first being the details, the second one being the insights, which the AI actually creates the questions, which can be used by the colleague or the one who wants to give the feedback to give the feedback, right? Now, the next one here is the play button. As you could see in the video, let me just bring it down a little bit, right? So here, as you can see here, so this is the point, like some of the key insights, like for instance, I could give a comment here, which might be a strength or notes or challenge, whatever, right? I can give the comment here. Let me just show that how that looks. So this is actually, you can drag it to any point of the lesson. When you just click on the plus sign, right? Here, as you could see, so it actually showed the different options. So here I can actually give a comment and select the specific skill, check for understanding, and then submit. So the comment gets added there, right? The comment gets added there. And if I want, this is on the right panel, as you could see, whatever comment was given, that will be appearing here, right? And the most important thing is that, like, to the people whom it was shared, based on their time availability, they can give the feedback. It is not necessary to give the feedback then and there once the video is uploaded. At their leisure, whenever they have the time available to them, they will be in a position to actually give the feedback. And it's not something you have to be present in the classroom to do this, right? Since it's an online tool, any point in time, whenever they are free, they are actually like, they can give the comment. And this is a collaborative tool, right? So as you could see, you have Matt has actually given the comment, and you have Maxwell again has given the comment, right? And then you have this page where it talks about the total comments that was given, right? So you have questions, suggestions, trends, notes. So these are the different categories under which you can give the comments. It could be on any suggestion or any strengths, any question that you have, or notes. So all these things would be summarized under this section, and the teacher can actually have a look at these comments and improve on his or her professional development practice, right? Okay, then the observation gets completed, where the teacher, what she does is that she has a look at, let me just share again. Okay, right? So what happens is that the teacher has a look at the feedback and the comments that was given to her, and then appropriately she can change her teaching practice, and again the video can be uploaded for her colleagues to give the feedback. Now, as Dheeraj had mentioned earlier, this is something which is the teacher might find it intimidating at certain point in time when you have someone observing the class consistently. Physically, if someone is there available, so sometimes, especially the newcomers, they might find it intimidating if they are there observing the class. But in this case, that is not there because this is done at a using an online platform where it is possible for the person who is giving the comment not to be available physically present, right? So that's an option which is available. So here, as you could see, what are some of the areas or strategies where this VC3 platform can be made use of is, so for instance, you might find teachers who might have strong subject knowledge, right? And for them, board exams results might matter the most. And the challenge might be students score well in recall, but struggle in competency-based questions. So these are some of the challenges that VC3 can help solve, as I had mentioned earlier. So this is a classroom scenario where the teacher does not necessarily has the available tool to help ensure the students are moving towards competency-based assessment, right? So the example that I had given earlier on democracy, that might fit in there. Because most of the classroom, if the question or the learning objective was on the basic level of Bloom's taxonomy, let us say define, list, summarize, right, or label, these are very basic level. If the teacher is continuously using these basic levels of Bloom's taxonomy, the challenge is that the students will not be able to achieve or move towards competency-based questions, or they will not be able to think critically when these questions are asked based on the exams. That's one scenario. Then you also have teachers who are like highly enthusiastic, right? He or she might try many activities, struggles with classroom control. This might be one of the challenge, right? Challenge might be students talk over her, transitions are messy, observation feedback is vague, right? So again, VC3, what it does is that it is possible for the camera to be placed. It can be like in the form of a simple like mobile. If it is placed in the classroom, that's more than enough using a tripod. And upon observation, the feedback is given to the teachers in terms of how she can regulate the classroom. What kind of routines and procedures can be set to ensure that the classroom becomes better disciplined, right? Especially the newcomers or someone who has been in the teaching field for more than like 10-15 years, they'll be able to understand the newcomers. If they are not able to manage the class within 1 or 2 years, then the chances of them staying in the school will be very minimal. They will leave the school within the first or the second year, because classroom management skill is something that they're not equipped with. The classroom is difficult to manage, then the chances of them leaving is very high. So again, using this VC3 platform, the higher superiors or a colleague itself can actually observe the video and give the feedback to help ensure this teacher is able to manage the classroom better, right? And so again, one more scenario where the HOD or the superior might have to oversee 7 or more teachers, right? And there is only limited time for observation. When there is limited time for observation, he or she may not be able to give the feedback that is necessary for the teacher to progress in her career development. So this is actually a challenge which exists in most of the schools. And again, VC3, what it does is that the same solution which are recommended for the earlier challenges. If the videos are recorded and the HOD can actually review and provide the feedback at his or her leisure, right? It need not be something where the HOD has to physically be available and give the feedback to the teacher. It is highly possible that the video is recorded and upon uploading it, the HOD can give the feedback at a later time, right? Which can be again evaluated by the teacher who has uploaded the video and take the feedback and make progress in her teaching and learning practices. This is actually like again a simple situation, right? So some of the best like features which serves as a unique selling proposition for this product is actually it's a collaborative tool, right? The colleagues in your department or in your school can actually collaborate and provide the feedback based on whom you had actually shared the video with. Again, that's something which is unique. And then if an inspection happens in your school, let us say CBSE or any other third party who comes in to audit your like the teaching and learning progress or the professional development program that has been happening in your school, it is highly useful for you to show the report that gets generated using the tool, right? So inspection is also something which is very much like it helps in terms of inspection aspect as well. Then you have for the teaching training institutions. So the training institutions, so you might have, let us say 10 institutions or 12 or 15 institutions. It is not physically possible for you to go to each and every institution to check how the teachers are implementing what you've taught. So in this case, this platform helps you to do the evaluation once the teacher in that specific institution, if they've been a part of your training program, and if you would like to see how it is getting implemented, the teacher from that institution can actually upload the video, and the trainer who is seated in a different part of, let us say, the country can actually evaluate and provide feedback to the teacher. That's again something which is highly it's possible using this platform, right? And also you have a repository of videos here. So in this platform, you have a whole list of videos that is available for the teachers to actually have a look at and see how the class has been conducted in other part of the world as well, which I'll be showing it to you in a few minutes. This is how it looks. Let me just share that again. I'll just show you the repository of videos. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so as you can see, so this again, it comes along with the platform. So we have this option METEX. So under METEX, you have close on 2,134 videos that is available, right? I can click on the video and see what the teacher has done, right? And as I mentioned earlier, the description, it talks about like what the teacher actually was trying to achieve in that class. And then as you could see, this is called as a split view, right? The screen is divided in two sections. The first section is about the classroom, right? Whether the students were engaging, what were the kind of activities that the students got interested in. So it gives a view in terms of how the students were engaging based on the camera that was actually available at that point in time. And then if you look at the second screen, just right below the classroom, you'll be able to see the board, right? So that's actually a split view. So you can actually look at both the students' reaction as well as what was happening in the board. That's how this works in split view. And then as you could come down, you have this attachments here, files attachment, what are the activities, what kind of worksheets that the teacher did for this particular session. All these ones are available for the teachers to have a look at, and they might gain insights from these repository of videos as well, right? So as mentioned, so this is a platform where you conduct a class, you record the video of your class, you upload it in the platform, and your colleagues actually give the feedback to you, and then you work on the feedback and you work on your progress as well. So this is actually a very simple user-friendly platform which anybody can make use of. Right, with that, Dheeraj, back to you.
Thank you, Faisal, for that detailed overview of VC3 and as well as talking about the use cases of how it can be utilized. I'm sure all of the participants here must have enjoyed this session. Interacting with Faisal is always fun and learning. So Faisal talked about the platform and some of the core features and other things. So I would just like to go over them in brief so that we are aligned in general. So some of the core features that you saw and Faisal also talked about, one was timestamp feedback. Of course, we now understand how that works. That gives us real-time sort of which time slot, exactly what happened there, and the and the coach or a teacher trainer is able to give you that response. At the same time, it's the framework alignment that is already there built in, for your institution's appraisal rubrics. You've got the Gates Foundation MetX video library, as Faisal showed. You have a lot of best practice classroom examples given. AI insights are also delivered specifically for leaders, mentors, coordinators, essentially going from beginning to proficiency to expert level. It does actually work better with professional recording kit, but it's not necessary. So, and even if you're looking for one, it's essentially using your mobile phone. You might want to, choose to have like a tripod that is able to, help you to put the phone in the right place, right location, and it's stable. You might want to use a Bluetooth mic, like a collar lapel mic kind of situation, which is very simple, easy to buy just from Amazon. You can buy it for like 500,000 rupees. There are a lot of options that will help you to get the clear audio if you need it. But otherwise, the phones work already very well. Today, the smartphones have improved a lot. And I know many of you would be thinking, especially the teachers, video recording in my classroom sounds like surveillance. So I wanted to, that's the reason I created this slide talking about specifically, very important aspect of privacy, essentially, right? It's private by default as a tool, right? The teacher records the video, uploads to VC3, and only the teacher can see it unless they want to share it with somebody. So it's very controlled in that nature that the teacher has the choice. Everything is under enterprise security. So if there is a SSO on your LMS, it uses that. The uploads are encrypted completely. So not even Edthena or anybody can actually go in and look at that video at all. Similar to the encryption that we see on WhatsApp and other tools. Compliance in terms of, data privacy compliance, it's FERPA compliant. I mean, you can Google it. You can check what is FERPA compliant. It's one of the strongest privacy standards around the world. And getting that FERPA compliance is very hard, right? That's what we have pursued with VC3 and making sure that it keeps everybody has the ease of mind. Nobody's looking at it. So it's a safe environment. This is designed for professional development, growth, and reflection, not for surveillance or not even for, sort of punitive appraisal, so to speak, as you can imagine. So while we have talked about this and seen what Faisal has shown in terms of what the platform can do, I have a quick question. You've listened to all of the details that we have shared today. We talked about the features. We talked about Edthena, the background. So would love to understand from you, and a poll will just show up on your screen, which VC3 feature would be most valuable for you? Is it timestamped video feedback? Is it peer learning and video sharing? Is it framework aligned feedback? Is it teacher controlled privacy? Any other you have, I would request and welcome you to please put it in the chat. So you can choose the options on the screen. If you're not able to see those options to choose from, if the poll is not appearing on the screen, I would request you to put the option in the chat. You can just, as you can see from the screen, there are 5 options. 5th one obviously being where you can mention what your challenge is in the chat. But there are 4 essential options given. If you feel one of the options is the right one, you're not able to see it on the screen, I would request you to put it in the chat as option. Lovely to see all of you participate. The ones on the fence, I would request all of you to please contribute. You've spent this time and learned about this solution and how it could help teachers, school leaders, teacher trainers. I'd request all of you to please choose any number of options. This is a multiple choice. You can choose more than one options. If you feel there are 2 features that you like, you can select 2 of them. Not necessarily to choose only one. You can choose multiple options. Okay, we see peer learning and video sharing coming out to be the top one here. But I request all of you who are sitting on the fence, please choose an option. I see some of you have put it in the chat, Sasmita and Radha. Thank you so much for sharing your feedback. All right, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this feedback. And of course, the number one option is coming out to be the peer learning and video sharing as an option. That's exactly why this was built for. And of course, the other features are extremely helpful and important to just do that. Thank you so much for sharing your feedback. Let's move forward. Especially for those who are from, B.Ed, M.Ed, DEI, ED, or, from teacher training background especially, what are you going to get from this? So it basically strengthens what you teach. Today, generally, when your student teacher goes for practice, what happens? A faculty member maybe visits a school, observes one lesson, scribble notes, gives feedback based on a 40-minute snapshot. That's entire evidence base for months of training. With VC3, your trainees can actually record multiple lessons throughout their practicum, and you can review them from your office. Timestamp feedback, build a comprehensive picture of their growth over time, close the theory and practical gap. So this is the holy grail of teacher education, right? You're teaching NCF 2023 pedagogy in the classroom, constructivism, inquiry-based learning, experiential approaches. But how do you know if your students are actually applying it in the classroom? With VC3, you can watch. You will know. And, exactly like we said, timestamp sort of gives you clarity and gives them clear feedback. They understand where they're going right, where they're going wrong, what they should do more, what they should do less. It becomes very clear. Number 3, competency, mapped feedback. So you can tag exactly what you want to tag. Your contextual information will be already there in the system. The system is bespokeable, so it has to be developed to your context of use. All of those good things. And you can track the trainees' growth over time. So it's a journey. It's a continuous professional development journey rather than, just these couple of pointers in between. For schools, school leaders that have joined in today, we saw a couple of them in this session. Makes your life so much easier. As academic mentors, you can support a lot of teachers without even leaving your desk, because they're not spending half of their time walking between classrooms. They're reviewing videos, leaving detailed feedback, having a deeper coaching session conversation, and all asynchronously. Again, standardization. If you're running a school group, you have multiple branches, you know the challenge. This helps you to solve that challenge. Evidence-informed reflective culture, this is exactly what will help you to develop. This actually shifts the culture completely. We in our schools today need that top-down approach. Right? VC3 literally gives you the tool that makes this shift possible. Shift from inspection to actually collaborative professional development. So this gives you that. There is no infrastructure required. There is no expensive hardware required. No app installations. No IT support needed. It works on any device with browser. It's as simple as that. If your school has an internet, teachers have a smartphone, you're ready to go. So there is no additional investment required other than the platform. For the education consultants who are looking to promote this as a service or add this to their product portfolio to promote, it's a high value entry in institutions, right? This is something which especially would help the entire school turn into a category school, a progressive school, a learning school, overall developing school. So this is absolutely a high value offering that you would provide to the institutions. It is NEP 2020 aligned, so very simple. There are already CPT mandates, so there's continuous professional development mandates that are there, that are enforced by CPSC, ICSC, for KVs, for state boards. This solution is exactly the fit for that. Uh, it's a very attractive product. School, essentially builds it once. It builds a professional learning community on VC3. It is just recurring renewals. Once they have done it rightly, you've provided the support, Edthena has provided the support, and it's implemented. This is a one-time activity that keeps on happening over a period of years. So it's recurring business for you as well, and we do provide support for all of our partners. If you become one, you're not on your own. We have our team. We will support you in terms of sales, presenting the concept, giving pilot, supporting you with those. We'll be very happy to do those with you. So what do we next? What do we do next? All right, 3 steps, very simple. Schedule a consultation call with our team, have a chat. All right, my colleague will just share a link in the chat that you can click on and schedule your consultation call. What we need is your phone number, email. That's it. We will reach out to you, have a chat with you, set up that consultation call, build the use case together based on your requirement, and then look to implement it in your school. Simple as that. So I'd request you to click on the link in the chat if you're interested in exploring this further. We would be very happy to have that consultation call with you to discuss the opportunity of working with you here. The link is in the chat. You can also scan the QR code on the screen. The choice is yours. You just have to fill in the details. All right. As for the certificate for the webinar, 1 second. Let me share my screen again. All right. As for the certificate, to receive the participation certificate, my colleague has already shared the link in the chat. All you need to make sure is you go on this link, fill in the exact name that you want to have on the certificate, exactly that way, even the caps. So please write the name exactly how you want it to, and it will be shared with you within 24 hours. It will come through the email address that you provide. So I request you, all of you who have participated and been a part of this session, request you to go here and collect your participation certificate. Just put your name as you want it to appear on the certificate, and this will come across in the email within 24 hours to you, to the email that you provide. Hey, Shilpa, absolutely will be happy to assist you. Please let us know your email address, and our team can share the certificate with you of the previous session. We open up the Q&A session now. Any questions, any queries that you have, please feel free to shoot at us. We'll be very happy to answer them. You can also unmute yourself and have a chat with us, ask that question verbally, or you can absolutely put that in the chat. I request you, anybody has any questions to me or to Faisal, we are here. We'll be happy to answer each one of your questions. Please let us know. Shilpa, we would definitely be coming up with the series of training programs, especially for educators. We are planning one, but it's not launched yet. It's not ready yet. So we'll come up with that, and we'll definitely be happy to share more information when it's available. At this point of time, we don't have one. If the video is not available, Irina, what do you mean by video is not available? Is it in the context of VC3, or are you talking about the recording of this session? For the VC3, so Rina, essentially, this is for video coaching. This is for video training. So it's just to make all our lives easier and simple, right? Have a tool where you can upload your classroom video and provide feedback. That's the video coaching practice. This is specifically built for purpose, for teacher trainers, for school leaders who are managing multiple teachers and cannot spare time to walk around the school every day and enter every classroom and do feedback sessions. And also the fact that the video provides a mirror essentially is not possible to do in person. So yeah, this is video based. Without video, it is hard to establish a use case for VC3. Yes, Mohit, you can. Any other questions that you might have, please feel free to share. We are here. We can take questions by you unmuting yourself and talking to us, or we can take questions in the chat. Hey, Rina, you'll be able to get the certificate right away if you have filled the form that was shared by my colleague here for the participation certificate. So I'd request you to click on that link, fill in your details. You should get the certificate within 24 hours. Dr. Vishal, thank you so much for participating. I think, Faisal, no more questions. I think we were very clear. And amazing session once again. Yes, thank you so much, Faisal.
Yeah, thank you, Neeraj.
Thank you, everyone, for participating, especially late evening with us. Appreciate it. Have a great day, great evening. Take care.